Welcome to the Shred the Spread podcast, episode 17, Preview Thursday. If you're new, thanks for tuning in. If you're returning, thanks for coming back. I am your host, Jared, and as always on Preview Thursday, I am joined by my right-hand man, my partner in sports gambling, Die.
Yes, sir.
How you doing, my man?
What's going on? What's going on, baby? You know how I'm feeling, man. It's a victory Thursday for your boy for getting a Monday night win. You feel me? Went to the game. The atmosphere was insane. I got to let you know something, man. That Philadelphia atmosphere is at Lincoln Financial is completely different. As you know, we're both Sixers fans. We've been in Sixers games, man. But that Eagles crowd is different, man. I mean, I was basically sitting around enemy territory no matter where I looked. Legit. So I feel good. We stole a win from y'all, so I'm hype about that, man. But I got a lot of shit to talk about this week, man. A lot of shit that we've been talking about for weeks about certain teams, and they finally done it this week. And this was a crazy weekend of sports for the NFL, man. So can't wait to dive into what these leans are going to be like this week.
Yeah, man. All I'm going to say on the Commanders is every squirrel finds a nut, even the blind ones, all right? Y'all got one. It took us giving the ball away way too many times, more than we have all season, quite frankly.
All season.
But hey, it is
Legit
what
all
it is.
season.
I'd rather get that loss out of the way now. Now we don't have the pressure of 17-0. But hey, let's go back. Let's get right into these games. Let's get some more winners, man. Last week was a rough week. It can only go up from here. We've got some good games, and I already have some strong leans. I actually already have some money deployed. We were talking about this a little bit before we went live. I'm
That
just gonna
early
say right
bird.
now, I feel really good about this week, and yeah. So, as always, Donnell and I are gonna go game by game all the way up until Sunday night. We will not cover Sunday or Monday night. We do that on the Monday episode. So we're gonna give our leans today, and then Saturday we'll be back for the lock. So let's hop right into Thursday night football. The Tennessee Titans are traveling to Green Bay to face the Packers, coming off of an incredible come from behind victory against the Cowboys. First time in Cowboys history that they let up a 14-point lead in the fourth quarter, which resulted in a loss. Aaron Rodgers, 3 touchdowns to Christian Watson. Dak Prescott, rough passing game. Threw an interception. Did he throw 1 or 2? He threw 2, didn't he? I think he threw 2.
Exactly.
I think Dak threw 2 interceptions. Dak.
Two. Yes. He threw 2 early ones.
He did
2
throw
early
2,
ones.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so Dak threw 2. And, Cowboys went up 14-0. And as you guys remember last week, I said Packers are going to cover this game, and I pretty much said that the Packers were going to win. So, immediately when they go down 14-0, cheeks are clenched, all right? Because I did bet on the Packers, and they were one of my, podcast picks, so I obviously wanted to make sure I got that right in case anybody tailed me. Not that I was expecting anybody to, because the amount of money and tickets on the Cowboys was astronomical. But hey, I came through. One of my big baller bets, nuts on the line, Packers came through. But they've got a different type of test coming to town. They don't have Dak Prescott and Tony Pollard. They've got freight train Derrick Henry getting 3 points. I don't know about you, but Derrick Henry is probably the only running back in this league where he can go out there for 99% of snaps. He's running the ball, and he still will get 3 yards per carry. That's going to cause problems.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
It's going to cause problems. So we have the Titans 3-point road dogs, and we said this a few weeks ago when the Titans played the Chiefs. Mike Vrabel as an underdog is an extremely profitable bet. Now, this is Thursday night, so we do kind of void this from our locks just because we do give our locks on. We record it Friday night, release it Saturday. So by the time we record the episode, the game is already over. So this is pretty much omitted from our opportunity to lock it up. However, I think Donnell and I both can agree that we think the Titans are the right side here.
Yeah, man. And when you say we're on the same side, I hope you're talking about the Titans +3 here. I mean, I'm pretty sure that's no doubt what you're talking about. I mean, you're talking about a team that was, like I said, was down 14-0 going into what, the fourth quarter, third quarter, and you're talking about a team in the Dallas Cowboys that with a 14-point lead, they ran the ball like what, 6 times, 6 to 10 times around that range, and they were absolutely shredding the Packers on the run. Tony Pollard had over 100 yards with 21 carries. There should be no reason why on a 14-point lead you're passing the ball, man. You're supposed to bleed that clock and keep running the ball. So that was a big blunder there to me. That was a big eye opener for me. Um, and as for the also for the Packers too, is you're not going to get as many turnover opportunities against the Titans. With King Henry running the ball. I mean, no matter what, King Henry is that offense. King Henry is the Titans. All right, that they run everything through him. And as long as that defense plays shutdown defense like they've been doing all year long, I mean, I think their biggest threat is giving up big plays here and there. But other than that, this defense is stout. They can stop the run on anything. Aaron Jones and AJ Dillon are not going to get those holes and those opportunities as they did against this Dallas team, which honestly was surprising because this Dallas team is defense is pretty dang good. But they're not going to get those opportunities. I really feel like the Titans are going to dominate the time possession game, really just stay in the game and stay with it. And this is what this team's been about all year long. And like you said, giving Mike Vrabel +3 points is absolutely ridiculous. I mean, this Titans team, at the end of the day, they play hard. They play hard for their coach, no matter what the obstacle is, no matter what it was. Think about it. They almost beat the Kansas City Chiefs the other week, and they had plus 12 and a half on the line. So I'm going to go with Mike Vrabel in that +3, and we're going to roll with it, man. King Henry, let's rock.
Dude, you hit it right on the head. Titans +3. You know, I I want to see this number to get to 3.5. I really
To
haven't
be
looked
comfortable.
into. Yeah, I really haven't looked into too much of, what the money and the percentage is sitting at. So I'm not sure which side this is leaning. But truthfully, I mean, I like this. I like this Titans +3. We have to just realize that you know, this number is slightly inflated just because the Packers did just win against Dallas.
Honestly.
So, this is just favoring the Packers a little bit more. This should probably be a Titans probably clear to 2 points. So we're getting a point of value here, and this just so happens to be the point that bumps it up to a field goal. Um, honestly, just public perception, you're getting Packers at home again. I want to say we're seeing some money pile in on the Packers. I haven't looked yet. I'm trying to, go through these Thursday previews without looking at any of the money. I want everything to just be a raw opinion, not be swayed by anything. Um, but I
Right,
would
right.
assume that the Packers are the ones getting loaded here. They have the minus sign, so that's obviously one of the plug and plays for the public. And on top of that, it's only 3 points, so they're like it's a field goal. So basically, when you just from a general betting perspective, if a public player sees a Packers -3, Packers -3 is almost the same thing to them as, oh, Packers just have to win, because in reality, how often does a team not win by a field goal if they win? Well, in actuality, a lot more wins come between the 1 and 2 point margin than you would think. Um, Titans +3 seems like the right side. It'll probably be the side that I'm betting. I will most likely wait until Thursday to place that bet just in case it does get to 3.5. But even if I do take a chance, I'm gonna pay attention to the line movement. But even if I do take a chance all the way to Thursday, and Thursday night, I guess I should say, because we are recording this on Wednesday. But even if at 2.5, I'd probably still bet at 2.5. So yeah, man, I agree with you. Titans +3. Um, we'll
Oh
both be
yeah,
on.
and fun fact, real quick. Yeah, fun fact, real quick. I don't mean to cut you off,
No, you
but
good.
yeah,
You good.
the Titans are 5-0 in the last 5 games against the spread. I mean,
Yeah,
they have been on fire for owners this year,
and a
for
team,
all throughout this
and
the last
yeah, and
recent bias. My
a
bad.
team that's hot against the spread is generally undervalued by Vegas. So and like I just told you, I think Titans should be closer to like 1.5, 2 points. We're getting them at +3 just because the Packers came from behind and won versus Dallas. That's literally it. So I'll take the point value. We'll both most likely be on this Titans +3, but let's hop into these 1 o'clock games, and the first one is an ugly one. Panthers traveling to Baltimore. Ravens 13-point home favorites. The total for this game is 41.5. So, Vegas is projecting this to be pretty ugly because the Ravens basically have to win by 2 touchdowns and stay under 42 points. So this is going to be an ugly game, assuming for the Panthers. But we are getting Baker Mayfield. Does Baker Mayfield starting for the Panthers intrigue you onto the side of the Panthers at all?
I mean, I don't think any of those quarterbacks on that roster intrigues me on any of these lines whatsoever. But wow, I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm gonna be the first one to say it. I mean, I really got the Ravens winning this one, of course. I mean, honestly, that's what I thoroughly believe. The Carolina Panthers plus 13, that's a lot of points to take. Um, a lot of these Baltimore games have not been blowouts. They have been right along the cusp of around that range of, 7, 6, 5, and with their style of offense, like you said, they're not an air raid offense. They're a very run heavy offense, running through Lamar Jackson and then throwing to your tight end and Mark Andrews. So I think that's also another key part to bring up. It's not like an air raid superstar offense like Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen out in Buffalo. It's a very steady pace. The game plan their game plan and identity is simple: run the ball, pound the football. And when you got two offenses that well, one offense struggles and the other one runs the ball and really takes a lot of time possession off the clock. I I kind of struggle to see the Ravens covering a minus 13. Granted, like I said, I have them winning the game, and honestly, they have potential to blow them out. But in my eyes here, I mean, that Carolina run defense isn't. I mean, that Carolina defense isn't terrible. I mean, you can expose them in the past, but like you said, this offense is predicated on run, play action, and get it to your tight end and Mark Andrews. And I believe the Panthers can put up what 16 points, 13 points, possibly, maybe, and just kind of keep it around the clock there. And I think this is going to be one of those games where it has the potential to be high scoring because of that, Lamar Jackson and his legs. But at the end of the day, when you're running the ball and when you kind of just bleed out that clock a little bit, there's not really much time to get to cover a 13-point spread. So honestly, I would lean Panthers plus 13
Yeah,
here.
100% agree with that. We already have seen it before that not only are the Ravens not really playing at the top of their game, but in the second half, their defense seems to crumble. A lot of their wins have been slow and ugly, and a lot of come from behind losses. I still have scars watching these games of the Ravens versus the Giants and the Dolphins. So that's always going to be stuck in the back of my head. So 13 points, and to any team of that, to make that very clear, 13 points to any team is a ridiculous amount of points in the NFL. We just saw the Bills, huge favorites against the Jets, lost. We saw the Chiefs, huge point favorites against the Titans, went to overtime. We just saw the Eagles, huge favorites against the Commanders, lost. So, just looking at the trends, and this is, to be frank, this has been the year of the underdog. This has been the year to take the points. This has been the year to take the under. This has been the year for, the money line on plus money plays. So, just watching the trend of the NFL, 13 points seems too steep. And on top of that, we're getting, say what you want about him, Baker Mayfield, but he's been on a successful team before. He has led the Browns to wins. Granted, he is seriously inconsistent, but the guy seems fired up. When I think it was DJ Moore caught that touchdown pass, or no, it was when they beat the Falcons the other week. Baker Mayfield was headbutting
Oh
every
yeah,
single player.
when
The
he
dude is
when he
the
headbutt
dude is
everybody.
just on in his own world. He's like a rich man's Johnny Manziel. Okay. Uh, Gosh, the Browns have had some crazy quarterback luck. But, so he reminds me of like a Johnny Manziel who actually can play football in the NFL a little bit better. But it seems like he's got that drive still there. Like it seems like he wants this damn starting job. He wants to prove it. He's got a fresh start. And this is where it starts. There is no Christian McCaffrey. They have to develop that new leader on this team. And could it be Baker Mayfield? Probably not. But can it be? for this week, possibly. So someone just has to step up to the plate and make a play. And we got to remember, DJ Moore is still a very solid wide receiver. Granted, there's not a lot of options out there, but Deontay Foreman has been running the ball very well. Chuba Hubbard's coming back. Is it just going to be, can the Panthers keep this game, in hand? Because we saw what the hell the Bengals did to them. So that's the only worry. I will not be betting this game. I will be staying away. 13 points from both sides, especially a bad team to a good team that we don't know if it can cover, is just something I'm not attracted to when it comes to putting my money on it. So full transparency, will not be betting this game. However, if we did have to take a lean, I 100% agree with Dino. Panthers plus 13. Ravens covering 13 points just seems ridiculous. But in actuality, they seriously could. So that takes us to... Go ahead.
Another fun fact. Hold on, another fun fact too. Baltimore is actually 28th in points in the NFL this year. I don't know, a lot of people kind of oversleep that. They're 28th in points this year. So getting a plus 13 spread with the Panthers, it might be a way to go, if you guys really want to take that game. So just keep an eye on it. Keep an eye on those injury reports throughout the week.
Yeah,
And,
all the trends are just pointing to Panthers plus 13.
we'll find out.
And this will be all the trends pointing to taking the points. And now watch, this will be where the Ravens put up 50 and hit the over by themselves.
50, right?
So this takes us
right.
to the Bears and the Falcons.
Exactly.
Bears plus 3 road underdogs. Falcons minus 3 home favorites. The total for this game is pretty high, 49.5 points. So we're getting a high scoring competitive game, which is implied from Vegas. I could tell you right now, every single person, when they look at this game, including myself, looked at this and said, we're getting 3 points with Justin Fields against Marcus Mariota. What? Immediately, I was like, okay, Bears, free square. I looked into it a little bit more. Granted, Justin Fields has been getting better week by week. We've been saying he is just a guy who, if as long as they keep catering play calls to his play style, he will continue to grow and become more successful. Obviously had the one bad pick against the Lions, which kind of costed them the game in the long run. But there's one thing that scares me, and it is not only are the Bears on the road, we are getting a Falcons team who literally runs the ball more than anybody in the league. Their quarterback runs. They have 3 running backs. And then we have Patterson, who's just getting healthier, so he's going to get more carries. And the Bears' kryptonite is teams that slow the game down. The Bears like to play fast play pace. They like explosive plays. They like to get out and run. The Falcons are the complete opposite. They like to dominate the clock. They like to take their 3-4 yard gains. They like to very rarely hit Kyle Pitts down the seam. So we have the fast and furious versus the slow and the lazy. So believe it or not, I'm leaning Falcons minus 3. What is your take on this game?
Oh man, this is a very, very tough take. I would honestly. What's funny about it is, this is actually a very tough game, man. I've seen the good out of the Falcons defense, and I've seen the worst out of the Falcons defense. This is going to be the game. This is going to be a game of where whoever has the most time possession is going to win this game. This is basically going to be a game on the ground. It's going to be definitely a ground and pound game. Here's what I'm gonna say about this, man. Is I don't trust this Chicago's Bears defense to save my life at this point. I've always believed in Justin Fields. I really put money on Justin Fields, but I put money on the Bears last week because I believe Justin Fields was going to produce the game he actually had. I mean, he had a great game once again last week on the ground, and the Bears blew it. There was at one point there was up 14 points going into the fourth quarter, and they gave up 21 points. Now, granted, one was a pick six again that was given up by Justin Fields, but the opponent scored 21 points in the fourth quarter that the Detroit Lions did to beat the Bears last week. And when you can't close out game, that just shows to me that you're a young, inexperienced team that just can't close out a game yet, you know? And granted, you're giving the Chicago Bears plus 3 points here, but let's be honest. I have better faith. As odd as this sounds, I have better faith in that Falcons defense than I do with that Chicago Bears defense. It's going to be a close game. It is in Atlanta. So that's another key point there too. It's not in Chicago. If it was Chicago, you might be talking about a different story. Cold, you know. Atlanta doesn't really get, Atlanta never really gets that cold at all, and they're in a dome. But I'm gonna roll the dice here again, and I'm gonna roll the dice on the Falcons again after they burnt me. I'm gonna roll with the -3 as well. I really feel like Cordell Patterson's gonna have a better week. This is his third week coming back off the injury. Um, they discovered a two-headed monster with what Tyler Algier. Is that what his name is? I can't really pronounce his name.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, Tyler Algier. And I think they're gonna be a two-headed monster and they're gonna run down the Bears' throat. I feel like they're gonna really control the pace of the game, considering that they're at home and in the dome. And I'm gonna roll with the -3 on a lean. It's not my lock, but I'll definitely roll with the -3
Yeah,
as a
yeah.
lean.
Um, I'm actually very shocked that you said that. I really thought you were going to be all over the Bears. Um,
And I would,
no,
and I would, and I normally would.
see, I think you're learning though. I think you're learning. Not everything is as good as it seems, and not saying I swayed you in any way, but you see what I'm talking about. Like
Yeah.
this number is, the Bears +3 is going to be one of the first thing everybody clicks this week. Oh, Justin Fields coming off a 700 rushing yard performance. There's no way they don't cover 3. Well, let's be real. The Falcons will probably win this game by like 10 points because the Bears aren't going to be able to stop the Falcons. And, Justin Fields isn't going to be able to break away for 60-yard touchdowns every play. That's what scares me about the Bears because the Bears defense is garbage. They're seriously garbage. I did not expect the Lions to go down to Chicago and torch them. Torch them. We
In a
make
division
all,
game.
yeah, we make the joke all the time that you take the fish out of the fishbowl, aka Jared Goff out of Ford Field Dome, and he's lost. Well, unless you're playing the Bears. So, if I was quarterback and you were wide receiver, we'd probably put up 30 points. Because they can't stop shit. And Roquan Smith is gone. So against the rushing team, that's huge. So Falcons -3. We're both on it as a lean. We'll see what happens come Saturday. So let's go to the what should we call this? The pre-White Christmas. The Browns are
Yes,
heading
yes,
to
indeed.
Buffalo. Browns 8-point road dogs. The total for this game is 41.5. This total has already gone down at 1.5 points. Full transparency. I've already taken a shot and I bet 2 units on the under at 43. Specifically because there is news that we're going to see like somewhere between 3 to 6 to 7 feet of snow. There is the possibility that,
Feet, not
yeah,
inches.
there will be the possibility that this game will be relocated just to basically in like, ridiculous weather conditions where there's going to be absolutely no way that this a football game can be played. But when I saw that news, I got flashbacks to last year or the year before when the Bills played the Patriots and their field goals were going backwards. Tyler Bass kicked a field goal and it went up and went backwards. It almost landed behind where he was kicking in warm-ups. There was no field goals. You couldn't throw the ball. It was a rugby match at the line of scrimmage. They said hike and they ran full speed at each other and just hoped that they could get a couple yards because there was no kicking field goals. There was one side in the third or fourth quarter where the wind was blowing so heavy that you could probably kick a field goal from your own field goal post, and because the wind was blowing so hard, you could kick it to the complete opposite side of the field. This game was insane. If you were on the side of the wind against you, you couldn't punt, you couldn't throw, but if you had the wind on your side, it was like kicking a punt or a field goal in Denver. So that's the flashbacks I got. So just full transparency, I did bet the under. I also did sprinkle the Browns +8.5 because if there's going to be no teams if they're going to struggle to score, I was just going to sprinkle the team that's got the running back. They got Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. Quite frankly, Josh Allen might be the leading carry. He might just QB sneak all game because they have Devin Singletary, Naeem Hines. I think they'd rather have the giant running through the hole every time. But this game is going to be hard for us to handicap right now because we really don't know what this weather's going to look like. Do you have any information or any opinion on this game right now? Because we're really just waiting for what the weather and the injury report's going to look like.
Yeah, exactly, man. We're on standby right now. That's basically what I'm at right now. I'm very stationary to see what happens. Honestly, if you want to go ahead and take a risk, right, right now, and kind of say, "Hey, look, man, the fact that they brought up these conditions means something's going to happen. Some weather is going to be, even if it's not 6 feet, it's going to be 3, 2 feet, and playing in just even any foot of snow is going to be tough as it is to throw the ball anyway. I'm not gonna lie to you. Yes, we are waiting for the weather. But if you want to go ahead and pick one, I believe it would be smart and wise to go with the Browns +8. Just take it while you can, because you never know when the weather gets fully announced if Vegas is going to mess with those spreads as well. They might make it to where it's kind of like an even play for at that point. Like you said, the running game for the Bills isn't as sharp. Devin Singletary is finding is finding ways to collect yards and really help this offense in a way that he's able to. But this Bills this Bills offense isn't built to run 30 times in one game, 25 times in one game. And on the other side, if you're looking at the Cleveland Browns, I mean, they got probably one of the not one of the best. They got one of the best dual-headed threats at running back. I mean, and Nick Chubb speaks for itself. I mean, this is a Nick Chubb game. This screams a Nick Chubb game. And you want to talk about snow stories? You know what this snow game kind of reminds me of? And you just remember this
The
very,
Thanksgiving game with
very,
the Eagles
very
and the
vividly.
Lions.
Yes, the Eagles and the Lions, and Shady was going whip all the way across the field all game long. He had a hell of a day, and honestly, I mean that's the type of game I kind of picture. I mean, didn't you guys have Nick Foles at the time? And wasn't Nick Foles was like he was an MVP candidate at the time with 27
Was that the
touchdowns
year
and
where he threw like
what
7 touchdowns
very
against the
few
Raiders?
interceptions? Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, exactly. That was the one reason where 7 touchdowns against the Raiders, and that offense was definitely had some explosiveness to it. And the fact that I think it was the lowest scoring game at that point too, only because of the snow. So I'm taking hey, look, I'm taking a shot. Take that +8. Take a shot with that weather. And like I said, it's gonna be hard, guys. All right, like I said, it's even gonna be hard kicking field goals. Like you said, remember when you kicked the ball and it flew right back at the man's face? Like you gotta understand, like it's sometimes you can't, look at the outside factors of it. And when you can take the passing game away from Josh Allen without having to use defense to do it, you kind of want to take the plus as it is. So I think that's a sharp play. You know what I'm saying? It might not be a lock at the moment, but it's definitely a sharp play if you want to take that +8 right now before Vegas start messing with those lines. So I guarantee you, if they announce that there's going to be a massive snowstorm, you're going to want to take that +8 and they're going to mess with the lines.
Okay. So 100% agree with you. I love taking the points here. I did just take the under just for the simple fact that, Josh
Yeah.
Allen, he's magical.
Yeah, that's self-explanatory.
And the last thing I want is, the Bills win like 10-0 or something stupid. So I did take the under, but
Yeah,
here's
right.
a little bit of information for you, okay? This is cool. In December 16th of 2007, the Bills, and what a coincidence, the Browns faced off in Buffalo, where this was the last time where these two teams faced off in Buffalo. There was severe snow and wind, and there was huge piles of snow. You know what the score of that game was? You said what?
10-3.
The Browns
10-3.
beat the Bills in 2007 in the snowstorm massacre 8-0.
Damn, that was even worse than I said. You know what's crazy? I think I remember. I'm starting to think if I remember that a little bit now.
Now,
Now
you
that you
know what's
said
even
that score.
funnier?
Now that you said that score, I think
You
I
know
do.
what's even funnier? That number one, obviously the roles are reversed because the Bills in 2007 weren't that good. But the Browns won 8-0, and the score I mean, the spread for this game is 8 points. Could you imagine sitting there and sweating out? Let's just say the Browns +8 and the Bills are up 8-0 in the third quarter. Could you imagine? Because you just don't know what's going to happen. Are they going to snap the ball and fumble? Are they going to fall on ice? Like, there's just so much stuff that could happen. And I could not imagine sitting there. And like in 2007, could you imagine if someone had like the Bills +8.5? And they're sweating out and the Browns are winning 8-0. Like this is going to be so cool to watch, but this is going to be so bad to bet on. I'm just going to hope that it's terrible. I take the under and it's free money. If this thing somehow goes over and there's piles of snow on the ground, I may just you may just be rolling solo on the podcast from here out because there's just if Josh Allen can figure out
Yeah.
a way to put up 42 points on the Browns, I might just have to reconsider some choices. But as you said, we are on standby. We
Yeah,
will
you
see
just
what happens.
yeah.
I have already placed money on the under. That's my main bet, and I did sprinkle the Browns +8.5. It was yesterday. Um, but we move on because there is nothing else to break down on that game besides speculation. So now we have the Fighting Dan Campbells, the Detroit Lions, heading to the Giants. The Giants 3-point home favorites. The total for this game is 45 points. This is a difficult one. This is a difficult one because when you look at this line, you say Lions +3. The Lions have been scoring. Then you look at Giants. Giants have been finding ways to win. They only need to win by field goal. Well, here's the problem. The Lions scare me. Not to bet on, but from the fact that they've been putting up points, but they really haven't played a solid defense. We've got to credit where credit's due. The Giants' defense has actually been, you know, solid this year. They're keeping them competitive in games. When their offense is struggling, their defense is picking it up. The Lions going against a submittable defense scares me. Do we see Jared Goff throw for 3 or 4 touchdowns? I don't think so. I think the Lions struggle in this game. What is your take?
Oh yeah, my take oddly enough is I think I'm a little bit more confident than you are in picking a lean here this time. I would actually take the Giants -3. I mean, the difference my difference between this week is, yeah, I picked the Bears -3 or -2.5, and I got burnt for that one reason, right? But here's what I'm gonna say. Okay, the Giants defense is to me is levels better than the Bears defense. All right, so let's get that adjustment out the way. Um, and as far as this Giants team, like I said, this Giants team loves to run the ball. Of course, with Saquon Barkley, use little gadget plays, screen plays with Saquon, throw a nice little slant to Slayton here and get open. I love the feeling of the Giants here, knowing that when it comes to the third and fourth quarter, they dominate. No matter who they play, they dominate in the third and fourth quarter, and that's what I'm banking on here. That's why that -3 doesn't really worry me as much. I like the Lions definitely bit me in the ass last week. I'm never gonna lie to you. Um, like you said, and this is away. This is at MetLife. This is not in a dome again. Yes, you take Jared Goff out of the fishbowl. He's gonna flop. Yeah, he's gonna flop this week. Okay, this is a way better defense. This defense has been battle tested. It has been through tight games all year long, and honestly think they're gonna dominate the Lions here. I don't feel like I don't feel like the Lions have enough ammunition. You know what I'm saying? I don't feel like they have enough weapons on the outside to help that running game out. And yeah, I'm gonna take my money on Daniel Dimes, man. I mean, I'm gonna really take my money here. Giants at home. I mean, why not? They've been hot. They're 7-2. It's the home crowd. You
Yeah,
know, why
yeah.
not take it?
So
That's how
I
I feel
agree.
about it.
That's why I pretty much said like the Lions defense. I mean, the Lions haven't faced a good defense, and the Lions defense sucks. So we're getting the Lions gonna get their first offensive test versus the Giants defense. And then we have the Giants who basically are going to be able to do whatever the hell they want. Saquon Barkley is going to be able to run wherever he wants. Our Darius Slayton and Wandell Robinson, Kenny Galladay, I think got sent back to the doghouse. But are they going to be able to maintain? Yeah.
Mm, as you should.
Are they going to be able to maintain the target share and the production? Because we see when Darius Slayton gets involved, this team is different. This team moves the ball. It's another good target, and obviously they don't have Kadarius Toney anymore. He was fighting injuries anyway. But we see when Daniel Dimes gets Darius Slayton going, the offense looks pretty solid. Um, so I think early here I have to agree with you. This is just granted, for some reason Daniel Dimes does play better on the road. We still have a solid defense with Saquon Barkley. I'll take my chances here with the Giants. I think this is going to be of a Lions will have to prove me wrong point, because until the Lions can face a solid defense, you know we saw what they did versus the Packers. The Packers defense is pretty good. They put up 15 points. And basically should have got manhandled. They should have probably had 30 put on them. But I think this Giants defense is probably a little bit better. So we'll see when the time comes. But I think I agree with you on the lean. I think you have to go Giants here, just because the Giants are a little bit more of a proven team, and we're getting a 3-point spread. And then we get that, and we go to an ugly, ugly game. And this line just doesn't make sense to me. The Los Angeles Cooperless Cupless Rams, 3.5-point road dogs. Saints 3.5-point home favorites. The total for this game is 39 points. Ah, man. I'll tell you what. How do the Rams score the ball here? We got Matt Stafford in concussion protocol still, and we are without Cooper Kupp. How do the Rams cross the goal line? Please enlighten me.
I mean, yeah, man. When you look at these two teams, man, at this point, I don't know who to give these points to. I mean, this is a damn ugly game. If I were to have to lean to anywhere, I would pick the Saints minus 3.5. The only reason is they're healthier. Their line's healthier. Kamara's there. Olave's there. They're gonna find I can at least look at them and find ways to score points than I can with the Rams right now, because the Rams are absolutely depleted. They have no running game whatsoever. Matthew Stafford's hurt. In matter of fact, you might as well keep him out, because he's only going to get hurt with 7 of those 8 starting linemen gone. So if I were to pick, I would pick Saints minus 3.5 if I had to lean.
Yeah, this is just like I just want to know how the ball gets into the end zone this game. And I know the total is extremely low. 39 points is extremely low. But I'm a sucker for shitty teams with a low under, so I probably will be sprinkling this under as a straight bet. Don't think I'll official pick it. Definitely lean on the under, just because I don't like, who are the Saints to be 3.5-point favorites, and but then again, like, how are the Rams going to score the damn ball? Like, it's just going to be what? Handing the ball off to Darrell Henderson and just hoping for the best, and running behind an offensive line that can't block. It's not like we can run gadget plays for Cooper Kupp. He's gone. So we'll see. I mean, if you had to take a side, it's got to be the Saints. But the Saints are just as scary as picking as the Rams. Yeah, an ugly game. Probably would be a little bit on the under. But yeah, it's just, man, I just would more than likely will stay away from the sides. But we have a game that we're going to that I love. Oh, man, it makes no sense to me.
Tell me about it.
New York Jets are traveling to New England to face the Patriots. Round
Big game.
2. The total for this game is 38. And if you guys remember, last time I hammered the under, and it was sweaty, but it hit. I'm going to say it right now. There's 2 things that I love. Number 1, we just saw this matchup in New York, and the Patriots won. Number 2, I love public perception giving me a discount on a pick, because let's be real. The Jets, the last time the people saw the Jets, they beat the Bills. The Jets also, earlier in the year, beat the Packers. So where everybody's going to look at this Jets team and say, oh my God, the Jets are getting +3. They're coming off a Bills win. Boom. People hit the Jets. Okay, you know what that means? The Patriots number that should be 4.5, 4, maybe even 5, trickles down. And we're getting the Patriots all the way down to 3. I will tell you what right now. The Patriots -3 against this Jets team. Not only do I have to bet it for my sanity, but this just doesn't make sense as to why it's 3. This is literally at a field goal because of the public perception on the Jets from the last time they saw them beating the Bills. We're getting a discount on a team that just beat the Jets in the Jets' house. Give me the Patriots -3, man. Go ahead and tell me why you probably like the Jets, because I feel like that's where you're leaning.
Yeah,
Oh,
boy.
he's laughing.
Like I
Oh,
said,
no.
I've actually been thinking. Nah, I've been thinking about this harder and harder as time went along, and whew, my lean changes because the last time I actually did this matchup, I actually chose the Patriots -2.5, and they definitely covered the spread. That defense was phenomenal. Bill Belichick eats up young quarterbacks every day of the week, anytime he gets them. You seen that with Sam Ellinger when they played. It's just like you said, there's the offense here is gonna be at a minimum. Brees Hall is out for the Jets. That's what scares me most more than anything. And and the thing about the Patriots is that defensive line is phenomenal. Matthew Judon has been exceptional throughout these recent weeks. The pressure will always get there. Zach Wilson will never be comfortable inside the pocket or even outside the pocket. His fundamentals sometimes really scare me. Man, boy, this is really, really tough. And the fact that the Patriots don't really pass the ball as much, they'll most likely probably run the ball. Mm, if I'm leaning,
Don't
if
do
I'm
it.
leaning,
Don't
Jared,
do it, Dino.
I might,
Don't do it.
I might surprise
Everything.
you
Okay,
here.
here. Let me stop. Let me stop you.
I'm
Let me
gonna
stop you.
take.
Let me stop you before the wrong people hear you. Okay?
Okay, all right, go
Listen,
ahead, hype
dude.
it up,
Listen, dude.
hype it up.
You just named every single reason why the Patriots are the right side. You're getting the right side at a discount, and you're going to just take the Jets. Please explain why you just named
Hey,
5
buddy,
reasons why the Patriots are the right side in this bet, and you're about to say the
buddy,
Jets.
calm down. I'm taking the Patriots -3.5. I'm taking them. Yeah,
No, you're not. No, you're not.
I am,
Listen,
I
listen.
am.
I'm calling your bluff because I heard, and we're not talking about Justin Jefferson. He's not
Yeah,
in
I
this
heard that.
game.
That's the reason why I said the j. I couldn't finish the whole fucking name because I was sitting here thinking about what the hell I'm gonna do. I want to take it. Trust me, I want to take it. It's 3.5. It's not just three. It's three. Is it 3.5 now? Did they move the line to 3.5, or is it still just three?
On it, I see 3. I also see 3.5.
Either.
So I guess it depends
All right.
on where you bet
Well,
it and at what
either.
time you bet it. But right now, I
All
see
right.
3.
Either or. I'm going with my gut. My gut last time told me Patriots. I'm running with right. I'm running with Bill Belichick again. Like you said, I just named so many reasons why I picked the Patriots to win this go here.
Thank you,
Matthew, I mean, think
thank you,
about it
thank
too.
you, thank
Remember how
you.
this talked about how the, the Titans are going to limit turnovers because they're going to run the ball through Derrick Henry? Bill Belichick's going to do the same damn thing. He's going to do the same exact thing against this Jets defense, who depends on that defense to produce field position and turnovers. We've seen that already. We've seen this already. Even it's the same story with the Bills too. It was the defense that stepped up, caused turnovers, and changed the game. So, like you said, when you're going against a team who's predominantly running game, and you got Sauce Gardner on the outside, and he's oh yeah, he's rookie of the year. That man ain't stopping the run. He can't stop the run. He can't do it all, man. All he can do is defend that pass when the ball's thrown to him. And you already know what Bill Belichick is. Bill Belichick is a genius. He's gonna scheme up. He's gonna scheme up a plan where he wins with Mac Jones throwing just 15 passes. He's gonna go in, get out of there, and he's gonna be on to the next game. So, what's funny is, yeah, bro, I'm siding with you. I know we talked about this earlier, and I was saying, yeah. There's a reason why I didn't finish it, man. I mean, it just makes too much sense. That running game is going to be the running game is going to be great, and I have more faith in just Bill Belichick and the Patriots against the Jets. I mean, when's the last time the Jets beat the Patriots? Honestly, Bill Belichick has owned them, and that means something. It's a track record, and it's in New England, like you said. It's in New England,
And we're getting Bill Belichick
off
off
a
a
bye,
bye.
off a bye, which is huge.
Yeah, come
Come
on
on
now.
now, yeah,
Come on now.
yeah.
Come on now.
You got
That's
it.
what
Look,
that's what I'm
we on the
saying,
same
dude.
page.
If
Just
if the Jets cover if the Jets cover this, I'll swallow the bullet because there's just I'm not betting the Jets against Bill Belichick off a bye, and they don't have Brees Hall. They don't have Breece Hall, and this team is completely different without Breece Hall. They struggle to move the ball. It's just going to come down to their defense, and it's a battle of defense versus defense. And I'm sorry, give me the more experienced head coach who can actually prepare. He has an extra week to prepare for this. So let's move on to the Eagles heading to Indianapolis. Eagles are 7-point road favorites. That's so ugly. Colts 7-point home dogs. Total for this game is 44 points. We have Matt Ryan back as the starting quarterback. They're coming off a fresh win versus the Raiders. The Eagles
I ain't talking about the
are
Eagles. I ain't talking about the
without
Eagles. I'm talking about the Raiders.
Dallas.
I'm talking about the Raiders. Relax.
Oh my
I'm
God,
talking about the Raiders.
relax.
I'm talking about the Raiders. I ain't talking about the Eagles, bro.
Okay.
Look, listen, look, we know
Okay.
we
I
know the
was
big
about to
dogs are in the
say.
NFC. We got it.
um. Yeah.
The timing was bad.
Just had to set the record straight. Eagles are without Dallas Goedert. They are out without Avonte Maddox, and we saw AJ Brown kind of get a little a little rolled up on an ankle there. So we don't know. I'm assuming he's going to play, but you never know. This is scary because I'm just gonna be very blunt about this, and I am an Eagles fan, so take the bias with a grain of salt. But I'm actually against the Eagles here. Number one, Eagles faced the Texans. Bang, struggled to cover, didn't cover. Okay, you know why? Dameon Pierce. Number two, Eagles faced the Commanders. Struggle to cover, don't cover, lose the game. You know why? Robinson and Antonio Gibson. And Terry McLaurin, for some reason, was having a hell of a game. But
he's a dog.
We'll give the DBs a pass on that. But let's be real. We've got Dameon Pierce. He's good. We got Brian Robinson. He's good. We got Antonio Gibson. He's good. Okay. Well, here's the problem. Now we're running into Jonathan Taylor off a big game. We've got Jeff Saturday as the coach, and he was a center. So you know what centers like to do? They like to block and run the ball. We just saw Jonathan Taylor become the workhorse again. I think he was out there for like 98% of the snaps. That is insane. This team is without Nyheim Hines, so obviously, Jonathan Taylor he's the workhorse. He has to be here. Gosh, this is just so scary. We're giving the Colts, who are going to run the ball down the Eagles' throats, 7 points. I am not betting this game because, number one, I'm not betting, against the Eagles to not cover, number one. And number two, we also have this recency bias of the Colts just winning, but we have to realize they were really, really bad the 3 weeks prior. So if I had to take a lean, if I absolutely had to, gun to my head, I would take the Colts +7. How do you feel in this game?
How do I feel about this game? Well, can I start off by saying congratulations to Jeff Saturday? I mean, we all know the whole circumstances behind the hiring process, and we know how we feel about that.
You don't think I can lead, man? You don't think I can lead?
Yeah, I'm going to tell you something, bro. That hiring process was bullshit, but you definitely can lead men into that locker room and out there to a win against, the Las Vegas Raiders. He did say himself, they suck. He even dead ass tweeted, they suck. And they went in there and then win. That's GOAT. That's legendary status right there, bro. That's really legendary status. But here's the one big takeaway I'm gonna say about these Colts team. This Colts team has had the same offensive line for the past 3 to 4 years since Andrew Luck was the quarterback of this team, right? So it just boggled my mind how the right tackle Brandon Smith, the center is it Ryan Kelly, the guard, my man, he's the left guard.
Quentin Nelson, or is he right guard?
Yeah, Quentin. I'm sorry, right guard, Quentin Nelson. Those are 3 dogs on the line as it is already. This O-line has severely underperformed the past couple of years, and it really scratches my head how they've just been one of the most dominant lines of all of football, and it's came crashing down to probably being one of the worst in the football at that point. I really feel like this Jeff Saturday hire has really like inspired his O line a little bit. I mean, who better than to get the offensive line back on schedule than an offensive lineman who's played with this franchise for years? Granted, he's not a head coach. Granted, he's never had play calling experience before, but they really went in there and beat the Raiders. Well, then again, that just tells you how bad the Raiders are. I mean, Josh, yeah, Josh McDaniels need to get the hell out of there. But I like it. I like what I saw from that old line back again. They really was powered. They went straight downhill and they gave Jonathan Taylor every hole imaginable. Jonathan Taylor broke one for 66 yards yesterday. It's very encouraging. I don't like the coaching matchup because of course I'm picking Nick Sirianni here. Nick Sirianni is still a good coach. They had a bad week. It was a rough week. Whatever, right? You legit take it up, you crumple it up, you throw it away. You know, now you're on to focus without having a perfect season on the mind. And I really feel like they can come in here and really dominate. But at the end of the day, to me, it's all about time of possession. And you see what time of possession does on Monday night. The Commanders had 40 minutes of time possessions, which is absolutely ridiculous. Ran the ball 46 times. I'm telling you right now, if the Colts can run the ball 46 times, I guarantee you they're covering that 7-point spread. If I had to lean, I would take the Colts +7, but I wouldn't touch this because boy, them Eagles, boy, they're gonna be motivated. They really are gonna be motivated, and that's the only thing that's gonna keep me from betting on this game. But if I had to lean, it makes sense for me to take the team that can control the time possession and run the ball against a run defense who struggled recently. And without Jordan Davis, they're just not the same. So, if anything, I would lean that Colts +7.
Yeah. Like I told you, I would lean Colts +7. I'm definitely not going to bet this just because I don't want to bet against the Eagles. Obviously, I'm just kind of hoping for a close competitive game, and I just really hope the Eagles just bounce back here. But it's a trend the past few games. Damian Pierce ran all over the Eagles defense. Antonio Gibson and Brian Robinson ran all over the Eagles defense. And now you got Jonathan Taylor coming in, lining up against the defense. However, they did get Linval Joseph, which I think is an absolutely huge pickup because that's just
Huge pickup.
extra body at depth. He's a vet. He knows what he's looking for. He can easily contribute. But yeah, this team is missing Jordan Davis, dude. So we'll see what happens here. But we'll figure out within a few days. It's going to be
that's a big bitch in Linval Joseph.
Dude, he is huge.
That's a big bitch. That's a big bitch.
That's about as close to Jordan Davis as you'll get in this NFL.
As you could get. No speed.
Yeah.
But all that fat. He got that.
Yeah,
that boy got
man,
fat.
Yeah, that man will clog up 3 aisles at the same time. Hey, but that's what we need, man. Some run stuff. So enough of my team. Let's head to your team. Oh boy, do I got a pick for you? Do I have a pick for you?
I know you got one. I know you ready to say it. Go ahead.
Washington Redskins, aka football team, aka Commanders.
Three names.
Who just named Taylor Heinicke the starting quarterback for Sunday. Congratulations, Taylor Heinicke. Fuck you. They're heading to Houston to face the fighting Damian Pierces. Texans +3 at home. Total for this game is 41 points. I will allow the man that I would say is sitting across from me, but you're not. Sitting in whatever. Donnell, take it away. How do you feel?
Yeah, I got you.
How do you feel about this game, man?
How do I feel about this game? Well, here's what I'll say about this game, man. I mean, what's the spread, man? Give me the spread again.
3.
Let me know what the spread is. 3. 3 straight out? No half? The straight 3 straight out?
It is juiced to the Commanders -3. So it's looking like it will move very shortly. Probably by tomorrow night, we'll see 3.5. But as of right now, it is 3.
Okay, well, let me talk about this game in a very realistic and an analyst sense. For all your sports bettors out there, this is a potential to be a trap game for the Commanders here. All right, you look at the Commanders; they're hot. They're -3. They're ready to beat the undefeated Eagles, so they're probably hyped up a little bit. And you got this Texans team who, to be honest with you, isn't terrible in the sense of, hey, they can't compete. I feel like every week they can compete. Damian Pierce is a monster. He runs angry every single run. He kind of reminds me of a great value Derrick Henry in a way. Not, not exactly Derrick Henry esque, but that boy runs hard. And you saw what he did against the Eagles defense when they played on what Thursday, was it Sunday night, Monday night? Am I not right? It was a primetime game, right?
When the Eagles played the
The Texans,
it was
yeah, the
Thursday
Texans,
night. It was the same night that
yeah,
they were playing in the World Series, unfortunately.
yep, yeah. That was a bad day for y'all. Well, in one way, but that's my thing. That's the one thing that bothers me is going to be Damian Pierce. I'm not really too worried about the outside. I mean, Brandon Cooks is still not probably not going to play. He's mad as hell. He's trying to get the hell out of there. He's trying to get released, trying to get anything out of his way to get out of there. The one thing that concerns me, right, is it's going to be time. It's basically going to be time possession, right? I believe in this Commanders defense and making stops and getting off the field and really giving Taylor Heineke the time to shine and really get out there in this running game to really forge this identity we recently discovered. But it's tough. It's going to be tough. Derek Stingley isn't no slouch. He's definitely going to be a thorn in our side for the offensive coordinators. I feel like Taylor Heineke. No, I'm sorry. I feel like Terry McLaurin's going to have another big game, but it's once again it's going to be predicated on time of possession, and you know how football goes, man. It's a turnover battle at that point, and Taylor Heineke, oddly enough, shows me that he's guaranteed to throw at least one interception or four calls, one turnover a game, and you know plus three and a half isn't bad. Washington doesn't really blow teams out. The games we do win are very, very close games. The games we lose are very, very close games. I mean, the only anomaly was the Eagles game, and that's because my man Casey Toohill picked up a fumble off of a lateral and took it into the touchdown. That's the reason why they had it to 11 points. So honestly, my lean here is going to be the Commanders. Like I said, there's just more weapons, more utilization out of that offense. You can really go to anybody on that offense and produce some type of yardage. It's all going to be about how they finish drives. And I'm banking on Chase Young coming back and that D line to really be stout once again against the run. We've been stout all year, really, against the run. We did really well. And I'm rolling with the Commanders -3 here, But just be aware, this is definitely a game that can trap you. This is definitely a game where, Commanders don't cover the spread because we're known for not doing that. We're also known for playing down the competition. But no, I'm gonna roll my gut here. We're hot. We're 5-5. Everybody's feeling it. Jonathan Allen did say once we start winning, keep that same energy once we start winning. And sure enough, they're on and the last 4 games, they're 3-1. Heineke once again covers the spread as he technically always do. In the last 10 games now, it's 7-3. So I'm on with the Commanders here, man. Hot. They covered the last 4 games. They covered the spread. So let's keep the train running.
I got
Let's keep the
bad
train
news for you,
running.
buddy. That feeling in your gut
Go ahead.
is gas. All right. The Texans are covering this spread. Okay. Number one,
Mhm.
this Commanders is inflated. This should be like Texans +1, Texans half a point, pick 'em. The Commanders obviously just beat the Eagles, so it's inflated. The public's going to be all over the Commanders. This line is going to move to 3.5, and as soon as this line moves to 3.5, I will be betting the Texans +3.5. A little bit of foreshadowing. If this line is at 3.5, the Texans will be one of my picks. I am already on it at 3. I love it at 3. I'm just waiting to get it at 3.5. Give me the hook. We've got two teams that are going to battle possession. You know what happens when two teams
Oh
battle
yeah,
inside of
that's the
possession?
name of the game.
It usually comes down to a field goal, and I will take the hook. I will take the points, and I'm not nearly as confident as I was with the Packers, but I seriously would not be. I know the Texans stink, but I would not be surprised if the Texans pull out this game, just because number one, it's at home. The Commanders are so due for a letdown, just coming off of that big primetime win. And the Texans, I think they're coming off a bye. I'm not 100% sure. Don't quote me on that.
Uh,
I think so. Because the last game they
yeah,
played was the
I'm gonna look
Eagles,
for you. I'm
right?
gonna look for you.
I think so.
Nah, they played the Giants. Nah, they played the
That's right.
Giants.
That's
Remember
right.
that's
That's right.
last week.
That's
That
yeah.
Giants had
And
-5, and they covered that
that's
-5.
right. But the Texans, I'm pretty sure they had like 2 or 3 possessions that stalled out like on the 2 or 3 yard line where they end up kicking field goals. They turned the ball over. Like there was a lot of points that were left off the board for the Texans. and the Giants defense is pretty damn good. Um, the Commanders defense is good, but I think it's going to be a similar game script. I don't think the Commanders offense is as good as the Giants. So I think this is going to be a little bit more competitive when we're getting the Texans at home. So I will be over the Texans plus 3.5. Will not make it an official pick on Saturday unless it is at 3.5 because I just rather get that extra half point value. Um, but yeah, man, we're going to be against each other this week. It sounds like. Um,
Oh, and hold on, real quick, a correction. I'm sorry, Brandon Cooks did play last game, so let me go ahead and put that out there. That doesn't let you know how much I really watch these fucking Texans. I mean, they're kind of
I
doo
remember
doo,
he did play, but he
but nah, I
wasn't
do
even the
give
main
respect.
target guy. I'm pretty sure Nico Collins was or something.
Nah, Nico Collins got a touchdown. Yep,
Yeah,
yes
Brandon
indeed.
Cooks. I think he left the game too because he like had an injury with his like wrist or something. So who knows what's going on with that guy? The world would just be a better place if the Texans would have just traded him, dude. I'm tired of seeing this shit. He doesn't want to be there. The Texans really shouldn't be wasting it. Like he's just gonna waste the rest of his season in Texas or Houston, and it is what it is. So let's move over to the 4 o'clock games. We have three of them, and then we have Sunday night football to cover. So let's go ahead and start wrapping this up. We have the Raiders. This is so ugly. The Raiders have heading to Denver. You know, I am anti Raiders on this podcast. You know it. I never have said anything good about the Raiders, but for some reason, this just feels like a Raider spot. The Raiders are coming off some pretty heartbreaking losses. They haven't been playing well, but if it comes to push to shove, I think the Raiders offense will get going before the Broncos offense. And I think I can trust the Raiders offense a little bit more to go above and beyond than I trust the Broncos defense to go above and beyond. Just because I like the weapons, I like the playmakers that the Raiders have, and they need this win really bad. The only thing that scares me is it's a division game. What is your take on this?
Boy, boy, oh boy, boy, I got something to say about them Raiders, boy. Y'all done went out there and lost. Y'all done went out there and lost to an ESPN analyst in 1 week. y'all, y'all went in there and lost to an ESPN analyst in 1 week. That defense is still atrocious. The Colts ran down. Like, what good can I say about the Raiders, and what good can I say about Denver? What you want to know how I feel about this game? I'm gonna tell you exactly how I feel about this game, right? The Raiders defense is probably one of the worst defenses in the league, probably if not the worst. I'm not picking this game whatsoever. I'm not touching this game with a 10-foot pole whatsoever. But hear me out when I say this. I got a funny feeling that if I were to lean anywhere towards this, I would take Denver minus 2.5. Usually I would take points in this situation. It's two bad offenses. I mean, I'm sorry, not two bad offenses. Just two terrible teams that just can't seem to get it right. The Raiders have 2 wins, the Broncos have 3. The reason why I'm taking the Broncos is this why. That Raiders defense is really that bad. That Raiders defense is really that bad. And I've been saying on this podcast that I've been waiting for Russell Wilson just to snap off one game. If it's going to be one game, it has to be the game right here. After this week, I'm done with it. I can't, you know what I'm saying? I can't hold that thought no more at this point. If you can't put up over 20 points against this Raiders offense and you're Russell Wilson, the Broncos need to rethink their direction a little bit. And this is my storyline. And this is what I feel like the storyline is going to be. After all that talk of Derek Carr crying in the press conference about some people not wanting it hard enough as everybody else inside the locker room. And it's funny to think about. And that just lets me know that this locker room is not together. And this is a locker room that was together through it all. John Gruden with all those emails and him getting kicked out, and a special teams coach coming in to play interim coach and then making the playoffs after that. That was probably the most adversity any team has really seen. I mean, as far as the Raiders wise, have ever seen. And you're telling me you only got 2 wins and 7 losses with the addition of Devontae Adams into your offense, with Hunter Renfrow still out there. Granted, Hunter Renfrow, Darren Waller, and Devontae Adams have played no more than 40 snaps together. I understand that. But this offense has to generate something to the point where you're producing some type of wins, man. This defense is absolutely atrocious. The defense can't stop a damn lick. I feel like this is the game that the Broncos win and the Raiders part ways with Josh McDaniels as the head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders. It's a perfect storyline to line up. This, I mean, honestly, think about it. Think about it. Josh McDaniels lost a game where he was up 20-0 against the Jacksonville Jaguars. He lost a game to a coach who hasn't even been there a week, and to a coaching staff who has never called plays before a day in their life, and they lost to that team in the Colts. And if you about to go in here, you tell me you about to go in here in a division game and lose the let's ride mile high Russ doing high knees on the plane, it's over for you. It is over for you. You can't be there no more. John Elway has to part ways with you. I mean, not John Elway. Mark Davis has to part ways with you after that, man. That whole comment with Mark Davis saying Rome isn't built in a day. I think Stephen A was talking about it. Rome isn't built in a day. Well, God damn it, Rome didn't blow up in a day either. That that whole franchise blew up in a matter of 11 games, and they went out there and spent money. That is ridiculous, man. Um, there's just so many bad things revolving around both teams here. I just feel like this is a gut feeling of storyline. I'm not betting this game, but if I were to lean, I'm taking Broncos -2.5, and I'm taking the over on Josh McDaniels getting fired.
um, I'll tell you what, I see where you're coming from, but I
This got to be it. I mean, if the Raiders won it, this got to be
yeah,
it.
that's what I'm
If you're gonna bet
saying,
the Raiders, this
like
got to be
after
it.
Mark Davis had this meeting, I think the meeting went somewhere I don't know why when I picture Mark Davis meeting with like Josh McDaniels and stuff, I see him sitting in his knees on his spinny chair, just spinning around holding something and saying like,
Yeah.
Josh, we need you to get together. What you mean this locker room's not together? Like I don't know, dude. Like Mark Davis just gave me these goofy guy vibes. But for some reason I feel like
He
they're
looks like a
yeah,
gopher.
I feel like the Raiders.
He looks like a
I
gopher.
feel like the Raiders pull it
Yeah.
together and win this game. Um, I don't know, dude. Like the Broncos haven't shown me any offensive glimpse of hope, and I know what the Raiders have. Like I've seen it with Josh Jacobs, I've seen it with Devontae Adams. Like it's just there. It's like they have all these puzzle pieces on the board. And okay, we got the top corner, we got the bottom left corner. Okay, we're filling it the middle, and then bam, someone just flies through and throws all the pieces back on the floor. We got to start over. Like they're putting it together, but they just gotta fill in the missing pieces. And I know Darren Waller battling injuries, Hunter Renfrow battling injuries. There's a lot of shit that's going on, but if a get right spot was really a get right spot for this week, I think it's the Raiders here. Like you said, I will not be touching this game. But if I'm giving a lean, man, I don't know. Give me the Raiders. I just Broncos with a minus
No,
sign.
no pick is
Yeah,
wrong here.
Broncos with a minus sign is almost as
Yeah.
nasty as nasty can get. So we'll quit with that. But we do move to the Cincinnati Bengals heading to Pittsburgh. The Bengals are 4-point road favorites, and the Steelers coming off of that big win versus the Saints last week. The total for this game is 41 points, and I will say it right now. I am staying the hell away. I it's been a while since I looked at a game and said, "Wow, I really don't know what the hell is going to happen." Because the Steelers defense just looked really good. The Bengals are coming off a bye, and the Bengals just looked really good versus the Panthers. So I'm expecting
The Panthers.
Joe Burrow's offense to come down to earth a little bit because what they did. Well, I mean, not even necessarily that it was Joe Burrow because it was more so Joe Mixon. Joe Mixon had like 5 touchdowns or some shit. But I'm expecting obviously like regression just because it's unmaintainable. And then we have the Steelers who are just coming off a big win, a dominant defensive performance, but now they're getting a real test versus the Bengals. Um, I don't know, man. I'm actually curious to hear what you have to say about this one.
All right. Well, let's put it like this. First things first, this team has met up already this year on the 22nd of on the 11th of September on basically on 9/11, and Pittsburgh actually won that game 23-20. I mean, this is kind of a whole different setup now. This is two completely different teams now at this point. Here's what I will say, boy. It's a division game, right? It's a division game. Division games are the most unpredictable games in the NFL. Let's look at every division game this year. Look at Monday Night Football. Look at Monday Night Football. Prime example. Prime example of that. Um, TJ Watt coming back for the defense was probably the biggest thing that ever happened to the Steelers. I mean, he makes so much of a difference. And again, against that Bengals offensive line, who has been up, down, left, right, like a GTA cheat code, why not run that? Why not run TJ Watt out there and let that defense work, man? Like you said, it's a division game. It's an NFC North division game. On top of that, those games are dog fights. Dog fights. Um, I'm torn between these two because I mean, think about it. The Bengals -4 just looks really, really good. I mean, that offense is just tremendous when they click, but they don't run the ball enough for me. Still, they don't run the ball enough for me. They keep snapping the ball in the shotgun form. They don't really work no play action or anything. And with Jamar Chase out, man, for this against this Pittsburgh defense, you're gonna have to mix in a little something, man. And I just don't see it. I really don't see it. If I were to lean anywhere between these pick, take the sharp money on the +4 Pittsburgh here on the lean. If I were to lean anywhere else, I would take Pittsburgh +4. That defense is coming back to life a little bit. Minka Fitzpatrick has a chance to come back this week. I'm pretty sure. Or no, did he go to IR? Did he go to IR?
I'm not
Yeah, we'll
100
double
percent
check that
sure.
in a second. But TJ Watt's back. That is the engine of that defense, man, and he's gonna wreak havoc on that new fresh O line that hasn't gotten right yet. So if I were to lean anywhere, I would take that +7. I don't really care as much as what the offense is going to produce. They're going to do what they have to do in a way to try to keep this ball game close. And I feel like Joe Burrow is going to have one of those games where he gets sacked 4 or 5 times this game.
Yeah, the Steelers are they're definitely going to get pressure. The latest I see on Minka Fitzpatrick is he did not practice today. Uh, just finally nearing full health. Steelers excited to unleash beautiful safety package. Um, I know. Looks like we'll see. They're optimistic that he'll return. So, Minka Fitzpatrick wanted to play last week, but they were being after his whatever. Um, yeah. So it looks like Minka might
Right.
play. So there is a chance. So that's definitely helps your case. I I don't know, man.
Huge.
I'm really torn here. Um, Kenny Pickett looked solid. The defense looked really good, but it's a division game, man. We know how these division games go. They're
Yeah.
gritty, and this is a 4 o'clock game, which is weird because I feel like the Steelers and Bengals playing at 4 o'clock is almost criminal, because both of them are East Coast teams. Let me just double. Yeah, they're 4:25. Okay, so this is like. Oh wait, no, this is co-prime time. Well, co-4:25 slot with the Cowboys and Vikings. So those are gonna be two solid games. We'll ultimately be watching the Cowboys and Vikings. But I don't know, man. I think if I lean, okay. So if I
You
ha-
want
if
it?
I if I if I have to give
Go
a
ahead.
lean,
Go ahead.
I think I'm gonna go with the Bengals. I think I'll go with the Bengals. Just because I could see
Hey,
this being like a late game touchdown win for the Bengals. Like I could see this going back and forth, and then the Bengals win by a touchdown. I do think Chris Boswell is out, so yeah. So Chris
yeah, he's
Boswell
out.
being out kind
He's
of
out.
sucks. So we are getting a pretty consistent field goal kicker removed from this game for the Steelers. So I think I lean Bengals. It looks like, yeah, 4 points. Yeah, it looks like it's going to sit at 4 for a while. I don't know. I'll probably lean
Yep.
Bengals here just because that's just my gut feeling. Um,
Hey, hold on. You want me to say you something real quick
Go ahead.
too? So in the last 5 games, the Bengals faced two division opponents, the Cleveland Browns and the Baltimore
Uh,
Ravens. Both games they lost, and they put up 17 points and 13 points. One of those games was with Jamar Chase, and one of those games was the first game without Jamar Chase. So I want to see how they play. I want to see how they play with one game without Jamar Chase, without playing a terrible defense, like the Carolina Panthers. So
yeah,
we'll see.
I don't know.
I guess
I'm
we'll
just gonna
see.
take the Bengals just because they are coming off a bye, so they had an extra week to prepare for this.
Yeah,
That's just I'm not having any
they should have no
action on this
problem.
game by any means. But just if I had to take a lean, probably take the Bengals here. Okay, let's move to my favorite game of the week. The Dallas Cowboys are heading to Minnesota. Oh, smell that? I smell a trap.
Mhm.
The Vikings are 1 point home underdogs. Cowboys 1 point road favorites. The total for this game is 47.5. And I'm just going to say it. I'm going to keep it short, simple, sweet because we need to wrap this up. Number one, we are getting such a discount on the Cowboys. The public perception on the Vikings is at its peak. We are buying the Cowboys low and selling the Vikings high. What are we talking about? The Cowboys are coming off a bad loss, and the Vikings are coming off which should have been a loss, but they won. So it is what it is. This is such a bounce back spot for the Cowboys. And the last time the Cowboys went to Minnesota, Cooper Rush won the game. Okay. Granted, everybody's not a fan of Dak right now because, we're seeing Cooper Rush win and we're seeing Dak Prescott struggle. But this is a 425 time slot. They're heading to Minnesota. The Cowboys need this game. They need this bounce back win. Give me the Cowboys -1. And I'm not kidding. This is probably top 3 of my favorite bets this entire year. This just makes absolutely zero sense to me. Now, I will defer to you.
All right, man. Well, you ain't gonna like what I gotta say. I'm gonna take honestly. Maybe I might fall for the trap, but I'm not gonna lie to you. I will play the Vikings +1.5 here. And honestly, if I was playing, if once we announce our underdog there, for me personally, I would take the Vikings as an underdog on that ticket for the round robin. And here's why. What I saw last game against the Green Bay Packers at home for the Dallas Cowboys. I saw the concerns that I was concerned about in the beginning of the year, and that's penalties, shooting yourself in the foot, and turnovers, right? Dak Prescott's 2 interceptions wasn't on him. I just want everybody to kind of know that to me. I mean, I've been seeing review, I've been seeing tape on it all throughout. CD Lamb on 2 routes didn't run the proper route. There was basically a misunderstanding between quarterback and wide receiver, but we're in week 11. Granted, Dak has been out. You know what I'm saying? This is his third week of him actually playing, so this will be his fourth. But you got to be on the same page, man. All right. There's going to get to a certain point where those mistakes are going to come to haunt you. Against this Vikings team, they made the Buffalo Bills pay. Granted, the Buffalo Bills shot themselves in the foot a little too much, and the Buffalo Bills basically gave them that game. I mean, Josh Allen literally fumbled on a QB. He literally fumbled on a QB sneak on the on his own 1 yard line, fumbled it, and the Vikings recovered it for a touchdown to go up by 3. That is disgusting. What I don't even know what the hell I was even watching after that. And then of course, storybook. Josh Allen goes down the field and kicks the field goal and ties it up and goes to overtime. We all seen that coming, but once again, he went down the field in OT and threw another pick. I do believe in this. And like I said this last week. I do believe in this pass rush of the Minnesota Vikings. I feel like they can get to the quarterback with the best of them. Zaire Smith definitely got to Josh Allen when he could, the one time he could, and I feel like he can definitely get he can definitely get to Dak Prescott. Um, this is tough. Like I said, it's a tough matchup to really play on. Like I said, I can understand. I can see why you would take the Cowboys here and the value of it. But man, like I said, I'm a rock with the Vikings here, man. I really like I said,
Go ahead.
no
Go ahead.
defense, no like I said, no matter what, no matter how great a defense is, it's really hard to stop run, play action, and boot. And nobody does it better than Kirk Cousins. Taylor Hawkinson, once again, is still a key addition. He had 7 receptions last week, not as much yards, but 7 receptions, enough to get targets. And you seen Jay Jet, man. I know you seen that boy, man. That boy saved the game, made the game, won the game. Shit, he got the game ball. He got every goddamn thing. You might as well put a statue on that motherfucker for that catch. That thing was crazy. That catch was insane. And this is a good feeling right now revolving around that Vikings team. There's just a winning culture around that. And I just think right now, this whole Cooper Rush thing is really starting to play an effect. You know what I'm saying? I really feel like fans really believe Cooper Rush is the guy to lead this offense for some odd reason when it comes to Dallas. I talked to Dallas fans who believe Dak should be the quarterback, but there's a lot of people who are just like Cooper Rush this, Cooper Rush that. Cooper Rush is going to lead you anywhere, and I feel like this is the start of a small little decline for the Cowboys here. I feel like they're going to lose again. I feel like they're going to drop to 6-4, and we're going to have a lot more questions start to come up. The second half is a completely different beast. You can dominate the first half all you want, man, but that second half stretch where the seeding starts to happen and getting to the playoff picture starts to happen, and a lot of these teams get hungry. A lot of these teams finally figure it out. It's going to get tough, bro. And I feel like the Cowboys are due for another letdown, man. So oddly enough, bro, I'm gonna take the Vikings plus 1.5 as far as
Bro,
the
just
lean
save your
wise,
money.
and
Just save your money.
save
Just
my
save
money.
your money.
You
Don't
funny.
bet this
You
because
funny.
listen. Let me just put these food for thought
Oh, I'm
here.
not betting it. Oh, I'm not betting it. Trust me, I'm not
Oh,
betting it.
I'm
I'm leaning.
betting
I'm
this.
definitely
I'm
leaning
betting
Vikings on
this,
that.
and I'm telling you,
You
okay?
betting?
Listen, this is like I said, it's one of my favorite bets of the year. It just doesn't make sense to me. Buffalo lost to Minnesota. Minnesota lost that game. Let's be real. Buffalo handed them the game. They even went down, and Buffalo had another
Yes, they
chance
did.
to win the game after they let up that bullshit fumble that resulted in a touchdown, not even a safety, a touchdown for the
A
Vikings.
touchdown.
They take
I
the lead.
know.
What does Josh Allen do in 41 seconds? Oh, no problem. I'll just cruise downfield and get the game win or the game tying field goal. We'll go to overtime. Okay, Minnesota, they go to overtime, kick the field goal. What does Josh Allen do? Run downfield, run downfield, run downfield. A tie is not that bad in their division where they're competing with the Dolphins. Dolphins in first place right now. Who would have thought? In a division where a tie wouldn't have been that bad, Josh Allen tries to fit it in this window. I don't know what the hell the pass was. He throws a pick, but he marches easily all the way downfield, throws a pick. Okay, Minnesota should have lost the game to the Commanders a couple weeks ago. Should have lost.
They should. Yeah, they
Taylor
really should have.
Heineke threw that game. Minnesota wins the game. Okay, they got lucky again. What is now? They're facing Arizona. Kyler, I think, threw back-to-back picks in the fourth quarter or some shit. Arizona had a chance to win the game. They lost. Vikings get lucky. Minnesota just hangs on against Miami. Minnesota just hangs on against Chicago. Minnesota just hangs on against New Orleans. Minnesota comes back miraculously and beats the Lions. Come on now. This is just a trend. How lucky can this team maintain? Like, they are the luckiest team in the NFL. They have, ridiculous plays that goes their way. They have one-handed catches. I mean, to do like half the time they're winning these games on improbable outcomes. And I just don't think that's one thing that's just going to keep it's not sustainable. They're going to get caught. And I think it starts right here. A hungry Dallas team coming off a loss and the Vikings team coming off basically 2 wins that should have been losses. They should have lost these last 2 games. They should have lost to Washington and they should have lost to Buffalo. And
Shoulda, coulda, woulda, but didn't do it, man. That's all I gotta say about it.
I mean, you're right. But at the same time, I'm going to take the Cowboys because not only are they the better team, they're the team that's hungrier for a win. Give me the Cowboys -1. I love it. One of my favorite bets this year. Now, let's close it out with Sunday Night Football. The Chiefs are heading to Los Angeles. Chiefs 5.5-point road favorites. Total for this game is 50. What is your opinion on this game?
My opinion is Patrick Mahomes. All right, I'm definitely taking Chiefs minus 5.5 here. I mean, let's put it like this. All right, I'm sorry. Remind me who the opponent is again.
Chiefs and
Exactly.
Chargers.
Staley and the Chargers. Exactly my point. It's the Chargers have been playing a little bit better as of recent weeks. They still haven't been able to win the game. They're without Keenan Allen and Mike Williams still. Their only piece of offense they can really find is Austin Eckler to carry their load. And
I think the latest I saw was there is a possibility that Keenan Allen and Mike Williams could both potentially
well,
play
that's
this
good
week.
news. Still taking Patrick Mahomes. Still taking Patrick Mahomes. I um I honestly feel like I honestly feel like Patrick Mahomes, like minus 5.5. Patrick Mahomes is going to dominate. All right, he's going to dominate this defense. This defense has been, like I said, has been playing better, but they're not good enough. They're not good enough to hold Patrick Mahomes in that offense. Even with just it's Juju and the gang, Miko Harmon and who's the other guy? Marquez Valdez Scantling. Even with those pieces, Patrick Mahomes just knows how to put it together. They still got Travis Kelsey in the middle of the field to really just shred it. That he is a mismatch nightmare for any defense to go against. I'm going to ride the hot wave here. The Chiefs have been very hot. Patrick Mahomes has been hot. This offense has been really clicking on all cylinders. And as far as the Chargers, they against weaker defenses, they have given up. I mean, they've scored what total of what 20 points, 17 points another week. They just can't. That, to me, they just honestly can't keep up with points wise with Patrick Mahomes and this with Patrick Mahomes and his offense. I'm actually intrigued to possibly take the over on this as well, just because I believe Patrick Mahomes is going to drop 30 to 35 points. Honestly, like straight out. This team has been balling. This team has been hot. I'm going to roll with the hot hand and keep it going.
You know what? You know, there's one team, only one team that, in a division game, 5.5 points just doesn't seem like enough. And, I know I've been an advocate, I think it was last week or whatever. Yeah, it was last week. Um, I said I love the Chargers +7. And it seems a little bit different here, just for the simple fact that the Chiefs just have this ridiculously high ceiling that no other team in the NFL has. Patrick Mahomes can, on any given day, throw for 5 touchdowns and 400 yards. It's insane. This offense is just so well oiled, and they work together. It's just a well-oiled machine. You have Andy Reid, the offensive genius. Now they have Kadarius Toney, who's going to fit right in. It does look like Juju.
Fit right
It does
in.
look like Juju will not be available for this game. However, we've got plug and play pieces. Hopefully, Mecole Hardman will be back. I'm not 100% sure. But we got Marquez Valdez Scantling and Kadarius Toney. So we've got playmakers, and let's not forget the big man in the middle holding it down, the anchor of the ship, Travis Kelsey. Um, this is just a poor defense going against one of the best offensive talents in the game. And you'd be crazy to not take the Chiefs here. It's not a good matchup for the Chargers, and that's what scares me. They just have too many injuries, man, especially on the defensive side of the ball. It's just too many injuries to try to keep up with this team. And, the Chiefs' defense hasn't been playing that bad, so the Chargers would really have to be on their A game if they want to keep this game competitive, and I just see it happening. Chiefs on the road it sounds crazy, but I like it because I feel like the Chiefs play way too comfortable at home. We talk about this all the time. The Chiefs at home with a big spread, it's like they're too comfortable and they don't cover. But we got Patrick Mahomes. Not that LA is like this crazy away. Like there seriously might be more Chiefs fans at this
It's a
games.
neutral site.
Because like the LA
Right.
fan base right now is just kind of like wishy-washy. Um so there may be more Chiefs fans, but for some reason, I feel like Patrick Mahomes get up for these games. It's Sunday Night Football. He's traveling on the road. I see the Chiefs win by a touchdown. Like I'd say I'd feel more comfortable saying I see the Chiefs win by a touchdown. Um, than the Chargers keeping it competitive at like 3 points. I think that's the difference in this line.
Right.
So give me the Chiefs. I think we're on the
Mhm.
same page. But yeah, man, that's all the games. So we've got several games that we agree on. We have a few games that we disagree on. But we'll see, man. So I'm gonna do some more digging, as will you. We'll get our locks for Saturday, and hopefully we can pick some winners, man. Last week could have went really bad. I'm glad,
Honestly.
realistically, the Bears should have won that game. They let up how many points they let up in the fourth quarter? Like 21 or 20 or
21 points in the fourth
unbelievable.
quarter.
Unbelievable. Seahawks Seahawks were just the wrong side, I'll admit it. It felt like even though the
And
game was close, it just felt like the Buccaneers had the game on hold the whole entire time. They almost the Seahawks gave us a chance of light at the end of the tunnel in the fourth quarter where they intercepted Tom Brady, and then he made Geno Smith on fourth down made that
literally.
incredible touchdown pass to Marquise Goodwin. But ultimately they just couldn't seal the deal. So they did not come through for the boys. But hey, Tom Brady was due, man. Like, this is about the point in the season where he turns the ship around and they start catching wind. Um,
They finally
oh
ran the
yeah, yeah, yeah.
ball. That was the biggest thing. It wasn't like Tom Brady had a huge performance. They finally ran the ball effectively, and when you can do that, Tom Brady is back being dangerous again. They had no interior pressure, and so like you said, it was we picked the wrong side considering the fact that the matchup wasn't exactly there, and they actually ran the ball. So hey, hopefully this could be a trend for the Buccaneers, and I can start betting on them winning games because they're
Yeah,
actually figuring out
yeah.
to
100%.
utilize the play
I
action.
miss betting on Tom Brady. I hate fading Tom Brady just because there's just that off chance where he single handedly wins the game. But you're right, dude. Buccaneers got the ball rolling, and the
Bro,
Seahawks. Oh my God, Kenneth Walker could not get shit going. Um, but yeah, dude, it's definitely going to be an interesting week. I like this slate a lot better than last week because I feel a lot better. Like I actually have
so much.
confident plays on a Thursday. Like, last week, dude, I was scrambling. Like I was looking at so much. Like I was over consuming stats. Like you never want to like base all your reads off complete stats. But like I was desperate last week. Luckily, I salvaged it. Went 2-2. But I smell a winning week, dude. I smell a big week for some reason. I'm liking a lot of these spots.
I smell good
I'm
home
definitely
cooking.
gonna have to get a lot of these
Right.
leans in now that we talked about today, and because these lines are definitely going to move. Um, and more specifically, I think this Patriots is going to get to 3.5 everywhere. I already see a couple places it's 3.5. I still have it available at 3, so I'm definitely going to jump on that. And then we're just going to have to monitor this Browns and Bills. So hopefully we can give you guys some more insight on the Browns and Bills game on Pick Saturday. But you know, I think that'll do it for us today. If you enjoyed this episode, please do us a huge favor. Leave a rate and a comment. You can also follow us on Twitter at @ShredTheSpread_. We also have been posting some more content on our TikTok at @ShredTheSpread. So,
Yes, sir.
if you guys are
Share that
interested in either of
thing.
those, you can definitely give us a look, check us out, give us a follow. But as always, Donnell, it's been a pleasure, and I will see you back here on Saturday.
Yes, sir, big dog. Big locks this week, man. Let's get this money. Tell
Let's go,
Biggs to
man.
bring me that money.
Yes, sir. See you guys.